Now, I've just been informed that we have CJ on the line. CJ, you there?
I am here.
Hey, it's good to have you on the program.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't. I guess my phone ringer was off and didn't hear it at all.
All right. Well, CJ, no problem. We're short on time, so I'm going to hit you fast with some questions. Are you up for it?
Bring it.
I didn't think you'd say no. Hold on. Let me get my notes here. I've got my notes all set up pretty and all that kind of stuff. But first, let me tell everybody who you are. A lot of people know who you are, but we're going to make sure that the ones that don't do know who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, C.J. Grisham. I'm going to give you a quick bio on him. C.J. Grisham arrested while engaged in legal carry, helping his son toward his goal as Eagle Scout, started the open carry movement in Texas. C.J. is a soldier, rancher, husband, and father. He has served multiple tours in Iraq and the Middle East. He has been a strong advocate for the limited government. His efforts to protect the Second Amendment freedoms as president of Open Carry Texas has received national acclaim, including being named one of the 5 finalists for 2004 Texan of the Year by the Dallas Morning News, the NRA's 2013 Defender of Freedom Award, and the NRA's 2014 Outstanding Leadership Award. So that's who we have on the phone, ladies and gentlemen, plus probably just a darn good guy. Okay? So, CJ,
it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, I guess, right? They all say that about me too. CJ, I'm gonna hit you hard because, like I said, time's running out, and we're gonna have to make this short. Like I do with all my guests, I write questions down and I send them to my guests because I want the question to be clear and I want the answers to be thorough. So, once again, here we go. There's no tricks here. CJ, question number 1: why are you so aggressive in the promotion of open carry? I'm talking about your methods of making the citizen aware of their gun rights. And by the way, most of the time, I'd have to say 95% of the time, I dig it. Go for it.
Well, the reason I'm most aggressive is because the gun control lobby is equally aggressive. And the only way that you can combat aggression is with aggression. And, for far too long, us gun rights people have tried to play with the kid gloves. We've capitulated. We've given them ground. And I'm tired of giving them ground. So the reason I'm so aggressive is because the gun control lobby is so aggressive, and they're so pervasive in our society, beginning in our schools and ending all the way up at our president.
That is so foreign to so many people. I totally know where you're coming from. And you think, why can they get away with it? And why can't we do it? It's because just nobody's engaged themselves. You have engaged yourself, and you've had tremendous success. I'll tell you what, there's been so many times that we've asked questions. Hey, can you carry a rifle in your car? Can you carry a rifle in the back window of your truck? And you'd get 1,000,001 answers. You have clarified that for so many people. That's right. That's great. Okay, let me go to question number 2. What will you do, or what are your goals and objectives if you're elected into the Texas Senate? Everybody, he's running for Texas Senate. I should have made that aware, too.
My goal and objective is to make Texas freer and stronger. I want to get the federal government out of every aspect of our lives. So I want to fight for an Article 5 convention of the states in which we, as the states, finally stand up to the federal government and say enough is enough. And I just want to if we can just get them out of our lives to the greatest extent possible, put them back in place as to what their constitutional responsibilities are, that is going to be my number one goal. And, until we can do that, until we can wean ourselves off of federal dollars and wean ourselves off of federal influence, we're just going to continue to go downhill. And so I would do that as well as work with other states to try and do the same thing.
It's funny here because the people put in position those people in power in the Senate, okay? And the people in office are supposed to be afraid of who they represent in the sense of, hey, am I doing the job that they hired me to do? So
right.
You're on the outside at the moment, and you're getting everybody pumped up and motivated, and they're putting pressure on people, which causes things to happen. How is it when you get on the inside? How do you think you'll have as much of an effect, or are you going to be restricted somehow by the way things are run in office?
Well, I'm not going there to serve any political party or any other legislators. I think that's the problem that we have right now in our legislature is that everybody feels like they have to agree on everything. And I'm going there to serve the interests of the people, to serve the Constitution, and to bring back liberty. And you know what? That's going to buck me up against both parties at times. But what it's going to do is it's going to expose our so-called conservative Republicans for really the non-constitutional people that they are. And so I'm going to make some waves. I mean, obviously I have to play the game a little bit. Otherwise, I get nothing done. But if I do nothing else, at the very least, I'll be able to start exposing the cronyism and the cronyist capitalism that we've got up there, where we've got corporate welfare and then we've got people welfare, and Texas can't afford either of them.
That's a two-sided coin too, because what you just said on the other side of the coin is the people have to be aware. Like you've made them aware on the gun rights. You got so many people who are unaware of what their rights actually are. So you may be doing all this great work. We also, in addition to that, have to get the public out there to realize what it is you're fighting for. And I just see it in so many different cases how people are ignorant to their Constitution, the rights that they have, so on and so forth. And if you don't use them, you lose them. Would you not agree?
No, I completely agree. And, one of the things that Texas can do and it's not doing is stand up to these unconstitutional mandates by basically a 5-member black-robed oligarchy called the Supreme Court. Andrew Jackson, when the Supreme Court, I can't remember the decision, but there was a decision that the Supreme Court made that affected the executive branch. And Andrew Jackson said, well, you just ruled on it, you enforce it. And he refused to enforce it. And I think that's what Texas and every state should start doing, is start standing up and say, you know what, Supreme Court, you're wrong. You are outside your bounds. And therefore, Texas is not going to support Obamacare, and we're not going to take part in it. Texas is not going to support gay marriage, and we're not going to take part in it. And what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Let the Supreme Court try and enforce their decisions.
I don't know where you stand on this, and I'm not asking this question to give an answer. I'm making a comment here. Like, I look at Trump and how he has stirred so many people up and made them aware of certain situations. Whether you like them or you don't, that's not the point here. The point is they have been awakened and stirred, and it's like they're moving, and it's exciting to see that. That's what we need here and everywhere, is to get the people aware, awakened, and excited, and to participate. I'm always saying, don't be an active participant, So that's what hopefully, when you get in there, that's what's going to happen. So very good. All right, time's running out. Let me ask you another question. Explain open carry, CJ. When and how, real quick.
All right, open carry is simply if my gun is showing, if I decide I want to take off my jacket when I go into a restaurant or to get out and pump gas, I am not a criminal. And that's really what it's all about. It's up to each individual when they think open carry is appropriate. Quite frankly, again, going back to what I initially said, the gun control lobby has successfully made the sight of a gun something that we're supposed to be ashamed of. So much so that even gun owners are opposed to open carry because they think it's all in your face. And what we've done is we've bought the liberal narrative hook, line, and sinker.
Amen.
And so what open carry does is it reverses that trend.
Very good. And when does it start? Can you explain the two, campus carry and open carry?
Yeah, open carry begins January 1st, and you've got to have a CHL to do that. Campus carry begins August 1st of next year, and you've got to have a CHL to do that. And you cannot open carry on any college campus, only concealed carry.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's very important. This is some of those little parts of the law that if you're not paying attention and you say, well, I can open carry, well, you're going to get yourself burnt. So you need to not be ignorant of the law. Pay attention to the law. Okay, CJ, let me move on. This is important because it's not clear unless you've got some inside source that I don't. Is there any specific details on the holsters? For example, if someone had a little gun hanging from their neck, because I promote little mini revolvers in a special holster that I make, but if it's hanging from your neck, how does that fall into it? Or if a woman's at the beach with her bikini now on open carry and she wants to clip this little holster onto her bikini, does it have to be strapped to her shoulder or her hip, or is there some type of variances to that?
Well, interestingly, the legislation doesn't say where the gun has to be. It only says that it must be in a shoulder or belt holster. So to the letter of the law, if you have a holster that can clip to your belt or can clip to your shoulder or whatever, and you put it on your ankle, then technically that meets the letter of the law. I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to challenge. I don't see. I'm pretty sure we can challenge the constitutionality. It might take someone getting arrested,
exactly,
because they see an ankle holster. But the law only says it's got to be in a belt or shoulder holster. It doesn't say where it needs to be, and it says it's got to be on or about the person. So,
and the reason I bring this up is there's so many times when an officer doing his duty, and man, I know he's got 1,000,001 freaking laws he's got to remember. I understand that. CHL's got this little small amount of penal code they got to learn, but there are some things everybody looks at, they go, yes, it's understood, and there's other ones that go, well, no, I don't think about this, or how about it should be this way or that way. That's where I see this happening, and it's going to take somebody to get arrested to prove the point, I think.
And that's the sad part. The sad part is why do officers even waste energy on the fact that, oh my gosh, he's got an ankle holster instead of a belt holster? You know, I mean, I don't understand why our law enforcement feels the need to even harass gun owners with such a minor detail. They've got so much better things to do. And again, you're only going to have a minority probably of law enforcement that'll do that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, any law enforcement officer that stops somebody because, you know, they've got an appendix holster or you know, like around the neck holster or a bra holster or something like that, you know, that guy's got to rethink why he's even in uniform.
That could be a whole nother show.
Yeah.
All right, CJ, one last question, then we're going to have to wrap it up. Maybe you can answer this because I never got a straight answer. And based on our previous conversation, you said it pretty clear, so I'm going to have you say it to the public. Can a person wear concealed and soon in the open on Corps of Engineer managed properly? I say managed because I'm not sure if it's actually federal property.
That's kind of a gray area. The answer is yes, because they don't own the federal property. But they're, you know, literally the legislation, if you read the U.S. Code, it only applies to buildings. But at some point, the federal government has decided it applies to all land. And that's a problem, and it hasn't been challenged yet. But the bottom line is no. If it's not owned by the federal government, they cannot prevent you from carrying with a license.
Unless they have proper signage, right?
Now, that's not going to stop you from, again, I mean, gosh, they'll arrest anybody for anything. I mean, look what happened to me. So you're never guaranteed not to get arrested.
That's right. And sometimes being right isn't always profitable, and sometimes it is. So.
Exactly.
CJ, look, I can't stop the time from ticking. I've got to do another section here. I thank you very much for making the time to come on the show. We'd love to have you on again, maybe in the near future where we're not cut so short on time and get a little bit more in depth on some topics here. But is there anything, final 20 seconds that you want to say to have people come to you and see what you're doing?
Well, you talk about standing up. I need people to stand up. I need people to stand for liberty. Go to cjgrisham.com and help me fight. All my opponents are trying to buy this election, and let's show them that this seat is not for sale.
Sounds great. CJ, once again, thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, you too. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.